It's like, I'll see you guys in 3 minutes. Oh, no.
For IEM, I had like a 15-second stinger, so as soon as the loading screen started, I could play the stinger. But this one, it's literally just like an animation, so I always feel like a tit. In the top right-hand side here of Everdream, he is representing Exxon Gaming. He is the Polish Protoss player. It's Gerald.
Facing off against the red Protoss in the bottom left from the Netherlands. And from Team Liquid, it's Harstem.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Oh, Captain, my Captain. That was... Whatever happened to that Captain's hat?
He still has it.
Okay, good. He better.
At the last Home Story Cup, they had him film more videos of it. He's still the Twitch Prime ambassador.
I wonder, like, how weird must it be to be somebody who, like, tunes in to StarCraft for the first time in, like, 2020, where, like, there's just so many in-jokes that you won't understand.
Yeah.
We need to educate people on the full lore of the Captain's hat.
It's a long story at this point, isn't it? I think whenever he gets a sub on Twitch, he puts it on. I'm not certain.
I don't mean right now. I don't mean in the middle of this game. I mean, like, whenever we see somebody new, we need to just, like, drag them aside and be like, oh,
this is it.
Have I heard the story of the Captain's hat? No, I was going to make it dumb darts like it's the wise joke. I'm way too tired to be smart, though, so it ended up just being dumb. Save me! Save me, Grant!
2 pylons have been put down outside their bases, but neither of them actually, for the committal of a proxy, they are fakes. You can see that because the probes ran away. Actually, both probes are currently looking for one another, which is really quite funny. Now they find each other. They both know there's something on the map, but neither know there's nothing on the map. Because you can't be entirely certain as to where they are, and you can see that they are going to scout. They're only going to scout nearby because the pylons have only just finished. And they know that. These players are very, very good. So Harstem's just going to go, okay, there's nothing right next to me. He will now find the pylon of his opponent and see that it is absolutely nothing. And that's some really key information there to see. Meanwhile, Gerald doesn't know, but he's going to come in and just confirm that there are a couple of stalkers coming out. The third pylon's gone down at home. There's no third gateways or anything weird going on. And he will lose his probe. So first blood goes to Harstem, and also getting that scouting information picks up a bit of a lead here.
Yeah, I would say so. We have expansions coming down from both sides. Essentially completely mirrored builds, to the exception of the sentry that's been coming on down, although now there's double sentry coming in for Gerald. So a little bit of a oh, never mind, there's a second one for Harstem. I was going to say variation, but no, there is no variation. It was all a lie. I do like a couple sentries in PvP. It's always nice to have that hallucination. Yeah. Obviously, Guardian Shield is extremely useful against opposing stalkers and all that jazz as well. We have the Twilight Council coming on in for Gerald. Still waiting on the tech choice from Harstem, I believe. Yeah, we are. So
I generally find if it is going to be late, it's generally a robo, I'd say. That's the way that the game seemed to be. I say that now, and we're going to see a Twilight Council any second because I've 100% jinxed it. Oh, for frick's sake! Cast a curse. So yeah, this is completely mirrored across the board. Even both players picking up that first probe, as Gerald did find revenge on one of Harstem's probes. We see the forge, though, is quicker here for Gerald. And that is a pretty big indicator that he could end up picking up a lead, going for a quicker third, maybe. I'm not really sure. Obviously, he could be hitting a timing attack as well. It definitely doesn't mean he's going up to Hive. And the game will continue.
Meanwhile, we have another forge coming in. This one on Harstem's side of the map. So while there is a little bit of variation, it's not the exact same build orders. It's the same mentality thus far. Yes. The same buildings. We'll see whether or not Blink comes in from Harstem. I would be very surprised if he went for like Adept Health, but I mean, maybe until we actually know, until it starts up. Oh, it's Blink. I'm so shocked. So Blink coming in on both sides, +1 going to be coming in on both sides. A couple of extra gateways coming in from Gerald. And this kind of makes me wonder, right? Because, like, Gerald is starting all these things a little bit earlier, but it's the same build. Did Harstem get, like, supply blocked or something? I don't think so, because he's ahead in supply. It's a little bit weird. I'm not entirely sure, like, what the difference in the build is, because Gerald has a couple more workers, but also the earlier building. I mean, Harstem does have a couple more units. Yeah, I guess that's where the expense went in, but...
Yep.
Yeah, over time...
Harstem used one more warp-in round, more than than Gerald did. He spent an extra 250 minerals and things, and that is the difference here. So Harstem right now is very, very solid defensively. I'd like to see him move out a little bit here and try and get some presence on the map. It does look like he's just going to secure his third base. Everything's good, and nothing's really happening right now as both players are on their robotics facilities.
Yeah, there's going to be a third base coming out from Gerald real soon as well. So it's, I mean, this is exceptionally mirrored, and we're going to, I mean, especially with the heavy emphasis on Blink Stalkers, this may very well come down to who wins that first fight and who micros better with that Blink, which is, you know, it's always kind of fun to watch sort of Blink versus Blink fights. And we'll see. I mean, Harstem, obviously somebody who's been known for just incredible micro and macro across his career. Gerald, somebody who is, I mean, he's also just like, he's kind of like a mini Showtime, right? He's like very good at everything. So, I mean, so is Harstem really, but like, we're getting to that point in StarCraft where like everyone who's good is good at everything. People aren't really specialists anymore, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, you'd say there used to be, you know, there were your micro and there were your macro players. And like, you know, Huck, top 3 control, baby, he was a micro player. And then you'd have like Naniwa, who was a macro player. I only can think in Protoss here, except if he pro brushes you.
Protoss deal absolutes.
Yeah. Should we just make this all about Star Wars?
Please, no. I mean, we can do it for one game.
Yeah, we
could. Like switch franchises game to game.
We have an ATAT being developed here by the robotic facility of Team Liquid's Harstem. On the other side of the map, we are seeing an Observe drone coming up. No, I can't do it. +2 is quicker here for Gerald.
Drone?
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything. But it is started by Harstem.
It's a probe droid, man.
I don't really know Star Wars, to be honest with
you. All right, guys, I'm going to be retiring from the cast today.
I'm not a big fan.
Wow, it's fine. It's fine. So we do actually have a little bit of variation coming out now. We've got Charge coming in from Harstem, while we have Gerald's going up towards that Robotics Bay, as well as adding on a Dark Shrine. And of course, the +2 still ahead for Gerald. He's been very, very diligent on chronoing that upgrade when he needs to, and also just making sure that he started +2 as soon as it +1 finished. So maintaining that upgrade lead. I don't think he's likely to try to hit a +2 timing at this point. I don't really like this army doesn't look like a particularly strong, forceful, let's try to end the game now kind of army, especially with Harstem investing a little bit more in that army supply. He's got an Immortal in here. I believe he's got 2 Immortals out now. And Gerald is setting up very much for the long game. He's moving out with these Stalkers. Stalkers, of course, extremely mobile, very, very good at gaining that map control, very, very good at sort of trying to, like, if your opponent were to move out, it's very easy to sort of pick off a unit and blink away, just sort of kite across the map. So I do like Gerald getting a little bit more active here.
Yeah, and he's also behind this. I think his main plan right now, is take a 4th base, get disruptors. And I think we'll see both players be looking for that 4th base in the upcoming future. Harstem as well, adding on his robotics bay. This is my favorite type of PvP. 4th base, both players playing disruptor, because it plays on a razor's edge. Either player makes one micro mistake, game over. And both of these players are at the top level.
Yeah, it's. I mean, do you remember? I'm sorry. I'm so nostalgic today, man.
So hard.
Oh, we'll talk about it later. We have a push coming out from. He's actually going to try to make this count with his own +2. It's not quite done yet, though. He's got to be a little bit careful. He's being patient, but is he going to be patient enough? His +2 is still about 20-30 seconds away. He does have an army advantage at the moment, but seeing Gerald pick away at a lot of these Zealots, really good focus fire coming in from him so far, starting to weaken these Archons as well. And the first couple of Disruptors joined the fray. This is where this becomes a little bit more iffy for Harstem. He's going to lose 3 Zealots to that first Disruptor shot. There's another Disruptor shot ready to go. 2 more in production as well. He's got to be really, really careful here. And honestly, I think Harstem he's done a decent amount. Like, he was able to just sort of deny that 4th for a little bit, but maybe it's time to sort of back off a little bit. Although I do like the use of this hallucination to make sure that he can see where his opponent is and try to find where they are not.
Ooh. Pushing up a ramp against disruptors is always scary. We're now looking at 4 disruptions. That's 4 purification novas and 4 chances of an absolute nightmare here for Harstem. But behind this, his 4th is almost done, 90% of the way done. If he can just keep his opponent on the back foot, as you can see, Gerald hasn't re-expanded yet. He's very focused on the fight. That probe is going to go for him. Harstem doing a great job of keeping vision here, and his base is now finished. Behind this, he's getting a Dark Shrine. He's adding in his own disruptors, and +3, it's going to be quicker for Harstem on the flip side to how it was earlier in the game, with Gerald taking an upgrade lead.
Yeah, the other side of that coin, though, is that as of right now, the count is 6-2 in favor of Gerald, and I don't believe Harstem has his second Robo complete. This is the second one that's currently in production. We also have Observer Speed, I believe, coming in from Harstem, which is
yes.
always cool. But at this point, I do like that Harstem is continuing to be active. I think that's a very good point that you made. He does need to be exceptionally careful because one mistake. Oh, he loses a Disruptor there as well for free. That's a huge loss. The Disruptor counts here. I mean, one Disruptor is enough to sort of sway the game one way or the other. But having 8 or 9 Disruptors gives you way more chances at that one muddy Disruptor shot. So it's very, very crucial for Harstem to maintain the Disruptors that he has. As of right now, he just has the 1, and there is a huge Disruptor flank set up to the east.
And I love how Gerald's playing this because he does have those Disruptors. Wherever Harstem goes, he has to be scared of a shot popping down from an angle he doesn't have vision on. Although this Disruptor's far from home right now, they're going to get blinked on. Oh my god, a few of the Stalkers do go down there. Oh, a huge amount of Stalkers go down. And Harstem, although he's going to kill a lot of Disruptors, loses so much of his force. If I was Gerald, I probably would have blinked forward then. Another shot coming in.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't actually know if I like that for Gerald. On paper, they're still extremely close in resources lost, and he took out a lot of the meat of that army. But the biggest number that we talked about already is the Disruptor count, and Harstem now has more. That was so many Disruptors that just went down for Gerald, and the idea was really cool. I feel like I feel like he just revealed them a little bit too early with those initial 2 shots that didn't really get anything done. So it's nice that he was able to get a fair few kills, despite the fact that Harstem jumped on that army. And he's not in a terrible, terrible spot, but he's down an upgrade as +3's about to finish for Harstem here. He's down in Disruptors. Now he really needs money Disruptor shots.
And Harstem at the other side of the map is moving forward with DTs. We have Purification there to come out. Hiccup, whiff. But they're being fired from multiple directions. Is Shadow Stride done? No. So these are standard DTs, and of course there are cannons. But there are so many DTs here that there ain't going to be cannons for long, Penguin. And this is going to be so many dead workers in the natural right now.
This is an insane number of DTs. It took me a while to even realize, because I didn't notice that Harstem actually got his Dark Shrine. 20 worker kills. Harstem just putting on a clinic on how to pull apart your opponent here. Gerald hasn't really done anything wrong. Harstem has just played even better. And coming in, they're very, very close to going up. They don't quite go off. Now the Disruptor's coming in for Gerald, but Harstem has already done so much damage. He's going to be able to pick off.
Oh my god, that killed 2 Disruptors.
Coming in, there's no Observer. DTs for Gerald are destroying this army. The Disruptor's coming on, and there's a great concave for Harstem. For Gerald rather. Harstem losing so many units. Oh man, the Disruptor shot gets whipped. He's going to be able to pick off that War Prism as well, and with this surround, Harstem gets absolutely crushed with his army. This opens the door for Gerald to not only save his 4th base, but also to potentially go for a very strong counter push here. I don't know exactly how that happened. Harstem just ended up without an Observer. He doesn't have a single Observer on the map right now. This is a huge issue for him.
He's not even producing any. Does he have any queued up? Let's take a little looky here. No, he's making Immortals. These DTs right now are the biggest threat to the game. They've completely turned it, but Gerald is still on a timer. Sure, he's up in army supply, and his +3 is catching up, but his worker count is lower. He's having to reproduce probes, actually, 4 at a time. He's continuing to add in Disruptors. In terms of Disruptors lost this game, Gerald has lost 13. Harstem has only lost 4, because he did recall to save a lot of them. This Nexus being targeted, actually, it will be okay.
Yeah, it's a nice overcharge on the battery there. And overall, Harstem's actually now 2,500 more resources. And that one fight where Harstem, I mean, honestly, the way he lost that fight was pretty crazy. I don't think he saw those DTs. I mean, he literally didn't see those DTs coming. But I feel like you really should have focused down that Nexus to at least give him that economic advantage, or to solidify that economic advantage. As of right now, Gerald is now the one who is on the front foot here. He's equalized the upgrade deficit that he had. He doesn't have a stronger army. They have a very, very similar army right now. But, the advantage in the resources loss is a pretty big deal. That's a very unfortunate loss, as he's gonna...
Oh my god, that's so many Stalkers!
Man. Alright, Gerald, though, we said he needed some magical disruptor. He's getting some magical disruptor hits, Grant.
This is my favorite type of StarCraft right now, where both of these players are playing, like... There's, one, as we said earlier, one tiny mistake in this game will end Purification Nova's being fired from every angle. It used to be like this in PvT with Protoss hiding high Templars for storms.
Two more disruptors just caught.
Too many.
There's way too many disruptors going down for him. I mean,
how many does he have now?
4 to 16 in the disruptor loss count. He's pretty yikes. Oh, and Harstem's gonna catch. It's another good trade for him. Gerald sitting on 5 disruptors. The disruptor count remains even, but now, I mean, actually, the resources lost also remains pretty even. So, I mean, not even, rather. It's still favoring Gerald by about 3,000. Same as it was before is what I meant to say there. But another DT popping out in here going after this pylon. He's not going to be able to pick that off before the warping goes down. But again, the DT just continuing to be annoying, continuing to ping Harstem's map, draw his attention away. And yeah, that's one of the best benefits of these DTs, right? If they can pull Harstem's attention away right when a Purification Nova is heading towards his army, that's really what Gerald is looking for more than anything else.
Yeah. More Purification Novas coming out here. Gerald's doing a pretty good job, I'd say. He's been taking a lot of... Harstem's been throwing a lot of units at his bases and not been able to get any kills. Gerald's done a great job of manually targeting those batteries to heal the next eye, and I've been really impressed with him, actually, more than I thought I would be, with no effect intended. He's played some really great StarCraft. Blinker's on cooldown. Nice dodges, though, here from Harstem.
Yeah, Gerald maintains the disruptors this time. He's been a little bit overzealous with them in the past this game, but this time he's being a little bit safer. He's protecting them with those stalkers, not going for the flank quite as much. A lot of DTs just kind of sitting around in different areas of the map for Gerald.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we've seen a lot of DTs just sort of continue to walk to their death here. This cannon has 2 kills on it in the natural for Gerald. Again, though, more skirmishes going down with these main armies. Harstem maintains a bit of a supply lead, but it's all in workers. The armies are quite even. And this one stalker being a real nuisance.
Hey, you got it. It's worse when it's like 1 DT and it's just chasing you, hacking away, and all you have is disruptors. I had a game like that today. For now, though, this game is still very, very close. Harstem has the 1 immortal, and that can end up being pretty nice as it does soften up these stalkers. But both of these players fishing for a mistake. That is what is happening right now. They're looking for that one moment of miscontrol, that one moment where the opponent plays that little bit slower and they're able to get that big hit. And it could happen at any moment. It feels like this game is really, we're in the center, the eye of the storm right now. The blink forward hit from Harstem, though.
Great zoning there by Harstem, zoning out all the disruptors of Gerald with his own disruptor. Thanks to vision granted by those 2 stalkers on the south side. This has been a pretty solid trade here for Harstem thus far, as he will be able to pick off those flanking stalkers and force the rest of this army back. It's another decent defense there by Gerald, who maintains a 4,000 resource lost advantage over Harstem. I was laughing a little bit earlier because I noticed that Harstem just has 3 observers flying around his army. He is not willing to risk them getting picked off and dying to DTs again.
Purification Nova's coming out once again here. Harstem quick on the retreat. Now, the crazy thing is Gerald may have the supply, the resources lost advantage. He's lost 18 disruptors. Yeah,
and I mean, the resources lost advantage is, it's going to be nice, but it looks like Harstem is going to commit to trying to kill this 4th base once again. This is a lot of charged zealots. DT's getting warped in. He's going to be able to get the super battery up. Is it enough to hold? I think it is. Yeah. He holds. Wow, the DT's coming in clutch. Meanwhile, he's continuing to micro in the army versus army fight. And, I mean, just Gerald is everywhere right now. Harstem was kind of all over him for the first 10 minutes or so, but Gerald has taken over the mantle of that role, and he has really shown off his incredible multitasking in this game.
Yeah, and he's been down in workers for such a long time as well that the fights are becoming... he needs to be efficient here. He needs to be more effective in the resources lost tab. Both players adding in some minus 400. Gerald adding in Shadow Stride as well, so we can get some blinky boys. We see more Purification Novas go off, not managing to get the connection. If this game ends, because of 1 Purification Nova.
So an interesting thing to note is that Harstem did reestablish his upgrade advantage. He does have +1 shields already. It's not quite as big a deal as when he had the weapons upgrade advantage. Oh, this Purification Nova! Oh, the last second blink away. Harstem able to save himself. This time, though, 2 of those disruptors for Gerald go down. His disruptor count is hurting. He doesn't actually have very many left at all. There's only 2. But the zealots coming in from the south side. A bit of a panic disruptor shot going off there from Harstem. overall, he's going to be able to get a few kills here. Good disruptor shot that time around, but another one comes in for Gerald, picked off at the last second, and that was an extremely good trade there for Harstem.
Yeah, and Harstem has observers this time. So many DTs just went down to a Purification Nova. That was like 7. And right now, Gerald has been forced back. Harstem's micro has been superior with these disruptors in the last moment or two. And now he's looking for blood. He's looking to get some damage done. We see more Purification Novas come out. This time whiffing a little bit. Supply so even. Motherships finishing for both very soon. Army supply is... Oh, well, no, I say supply's even. It's not really. As Harstem has picked up a bit of a lead here. Harstem's upgrades are ahead. Shadow Strider about to finish though, and can Gerald find a little bit of damage with these scary DTs?
I'm honestly a little bit confused about how Gerald is 3,000 resources ahead.
So am I.
The reason I keep bringing it up is that we are going later and later in the game here, and that is going to be very important as these bases start being mined out. Finally, Harstem is going to get this 4th base. Been the bane of his existence for this entire game. He goes after the 5th as well. There's nothing to defend that, or I guess the 6th. Nothing to defend that base. Another very, very good win there for Harstem. Gerald tries to flank this army with a couple of disruptor shots. He's not going to be able to make that happen. 4-7 in the disruptor count right now as Harstem continues to lead in that regard. And Gerald, he has a lot of money right now. He just wants to make sure that his remaining money goes towards big, beefy units like disruptors. I don't think he wants any more stalkers. I don't think he wants any more sort of gateway meat shieldy units. But I love what Harstem's doing here, just continuing with these 2 different groups of army, denying this 6th base, forcing the army to stay on the south side with his main force. Just a really, really great use of that army advantage that he's built up over the last couple of minutes.
And is there anything better than invisible disruptors firing invisible shots at invisible units? I don't think so.
Yes. It's an army of 10 DTs killing Archons.
Killing Archons. Blink, DTs, blink. Blink for your life.
I like that he hasn't revealed the blink yet, to be honest.
Me too. I'm not sure if he did to get on top of those Archons. He may have.
I did miss that. Ooh, so this is what Gerald's been waiting for. He's going into the triple Stargate here. I actually think this is a little bit premature. Oh, the Disruptor's coming. Oh, it's a massive in there. Harstem takes out almost the entirety of Gerald's army.
Just
and Harstem.
Oh, God.
The thing we were talking about, Grant. It's another one. Oh, and that's exactly what you've been talking about all game. The 1 lapse in concentration. And that's such a huge deal. Oh, man. Gerald needs to go back to dodgeball class, apparently. He's been great about it most of the game, but, you know...
The big difference I noticed is that every time Harstem fires a shot, he continues to micro his disruptors afterwards, whereas Gerald's been firing a shot and his disruptor sits still. We're seeing a few workers go down here to the Zealots. They're going to get restored. That's nice. Try and save everything that we can. A few get out. But we do have an attack for Harstem at the bottom right now. And there's a lot of DTs for this attack.
Oh, he's going to get the fleet beacon. Why is the fleet beacon there?
I don't know. He's not going to get targeted.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't need to target it. He wants to go for the economic damage, it looks like, which is a very fair decision to make. Overall, though, I do feel like Harstem is really just trying to throw away some of these stalkers and draw the army away as he goes for the 6th again, because now we are getting to that situation where a lot of these bases are mining out. The less mining there is, obviously, the better situation that Harstem is going to be in.
Oh, my God.
Takes out the Nexus again. And, well, I mean, the rich gas geyser at this 5th base is gone. It is mined out. There is very little gas mining for Gerald. He's got 2 extractors mining at the moment, or assimilators, rather, which obviously is a huge, huge issue for him. He's tried to go into Tempest. He does not have the money to do so. The detection at this 4th base has been picked off, and it's 2 DTs wreaking havoc once again. Harstem is, I mean, he's definitely putting himself in an absolute winning position at the moment. Currently, the army supply is still quite even, but it's a bit of a weird army composition that Gerald has. He's got a Tempest in there. He's got a Disruptor or 5, I guess. He's got some DTs, some Zealots, 5 Observers, because why not? This 1 Tempest is actually kind of funny. It applies a little bit of pressure to that mothership from distance, which is not... Yeah. He didn't do this to get 1 Tempest. He wanted to go into Tempests, but he doesn't have the money. But the 1 Tempest is doing its job. He's trying. He's trying his best, Grant.
Chopper for Harstem out of place does go down. And although right now, yeah, you see the supply, and Todd would be like, look at the supply, Roddy. No, it is all in workers entirely. You can see army supply almost entirely.
Look at the army supply, Grant. It's even.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to look at the position of the game, though, Grant.
Yes.
He's just look again another kill on this base. Great zoning. I mean, we are going to see Gerald collapse in on this, and I think this was his plan. He wanted to sort of bait Harstem in and then try to crush the army, similar to what we saw at the 4th base earlier on in this game. He just wasn't quite able to make that happen here. The Zealots are doing a really good job chasing down. I feel like army-wise, that wasn't the worst trade in the world for Gerald, but again, he loses this base. He's still just on these 2 assimilators. One of them only has 1 dude mining gas from it, which is not exactly great. And now, I mean, we still have 4 disruptors in a dream, Grant. 4 disruptors in a dream.
What's getting me right now is just look at the resources coming in per minute. Harstem mining 2,400 minerals. Gerald mining 1,100 barely. Gerald has 200 gas, which is much more important at this stage. Harstem with nearly 1,000 gas per minute. Unfortunately, the game will come down to... I mean, Gerald needs a wonder fight at this point because he's bleeding out very, very quickly. He has not been able to take this base, this 6th base, that's been sniped 104 times, like ever. It is never really mined. And Gerald's army now, it is looking smaller. He was dead even in army supply, now he's down 40.
Yeah. 4 Nexuses have died this game. That's not including the couple of cancels that we've seen from Gerald. So, this great flank coming in. I don't think there's a way out of this for Gerald. Harstem is going to crush a lot of this army, and while Gerald is trying to run, the revelation comes in. There's no need for even observers anymore, and there's just not enough here for Gerald. Harstem putting on a masterclass. There was a brief middle section of this game where Gerald dominated and played great with some awesome fights, but Harstem started strong, got himself into an awkward spot, but finished strong as well, and showing us just a lot of resilience in this game. Fantastic play from Harstem overall, and Gerald played a great game, a really, really fantastic game. But unfortunately, I think a lot of that game did come down to that one engagement where those 2 massive disruptor hits went off for Harstem. And that's how the cookie crumbles. That's how disruptor dodgeball goes sometimes.
Yeah, I mean the mental fortitude required for a game like that is immense. Like, that was how long? I didn't get to see before I left. We'll say like 20 minutes.
27.5 minutes.
Okay, 27.5 minutes, where for the final 17 minutes, you cannot once take your eyes off the ball. You have to be focused. You have to focus on your multitasking in terms of micro, but you also can't let macro fall apart. And that was an incredible game. And Gerald came into this, and he was an underdog. We know he's been doing very well, but as you said, 16-1 in maps against Harstem, according to Aligulac. I would say Gerald looked insanely good.
Yeah, I mean, there was a moment after he crushed Harstem's army at the 4th where he was ahead. He was in a very good position, and for those middle sort of 8-9 minutes, his multitasking was off the charts. He defended his natural, he defended his 4th, which were both at basically 0 HP, while microing his disruptors and trying to set up flanks. It was really quite impressive to watch. Harstem, of course, an equally impressive player. So unfortunately, that's what sucks. Sometimes it sucks about being a pretty good player. Is that when you're playing other good players, you can play really well and still lose because Harstem's also a really good player. So, unfortunate for Gerald in that game, but I think one thing that he should take away from that is that he's definitely good enough to win.
Yeah. That again, we saw there were multiple moments in that game where one lapse in concentration. This is a war of attrition at this point for these 2 guys. Which one is going to be stronger as the fights happen, as the games go longer, if we have another game like that? For now, our players in the bottom left playing for Exxon Gaming. He is the Polish Protoss player. It's Gerald.
Facing off against the red Protoss player in the top right. Representing the team that has some pretty awesome face masks. I don't know if you've seen their face mask.
Want one.
Yeah, Joe has one. I really want one. It's Team Liquid, Harstem.
The largest Joest of logs. Now,
the largest of all the Joe logs.
Oh, he's the hugest. One thing I read from, I think it was, Generic Mastermind Ant, that last game was like a drunken knife fight in a thunderstorm. That's so perfect, because it was. No one could see anything. They were both just firing shots off randomly. And eventually, it's so good. That's big props to you for that one, my friend. Now, this game does look like we're going to have a bit of shenanigans here from Gerald, maybe wanting to pick up a bit of an advantage, because his probe has moved to a pretty unusual location, up at the sort of 11-14 o'clock.
11-14 position. That's an extremely, exact.
He's at 12:03 right now.
This has to be Stargate, right?
That location, Stargate. Harstem's could be Stargate, but also could be Robo. Stargate.
No, I think Harstem is Robo. Let's see.
I'm on Cybercores.
Make me feel smart, boys. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm a god. It's okay. It's okay.
You're pretty good. You're pretty good. Okay. So this is an interesting one, which I believe favors the Robo. If Harstem gets a battery.
Yeah. It really comes down to the initial push with the Oracle. If the Oracle clears out Harstem's mining, and Harstem is unable to make anti-air, then obviously it favors the Stargate quite heavily. Yes. It really comes down to how much damage. I actually love what Gerald just did, by the way. He ran into the main with his scouting probe and then blocked the stalkers out with a pylon. That was very, very smart. He knows now that there is only 2 pylons here. Okay. There's going to be a shield battery coming on, which is a big deal. It's not in the best position, no, but it is a huge deal as we have the Immortal already rallied pretty far forward. But we have a shield battery coming in now for Gerald as well. So it's going to be very interesting. I think a lot of this game is going to come down to, like, how long does it take Gerald to clear out the mining? And I actually feel like there's a decent chance that this game kind of normalizes from here. A couple of worker kills is not a great start for this proxy Oracle. We do talk sometimes about how it's fine as long as the Oracle survives. Not in this case. He's invested a lot in that proxy Stargate, but he knows what's coming. He's got himself a shield battery. He's got himself a double gateway producing stalkers. And Harstem is still very capable of making a push out of this, but I think we're going to see a normalization of it.
I'm not too sure. Harstem's getting his Prism. That's now heading over towards the Immortal. He's making a second Immortal. He does have a lot of units at home, but he has a few Stalkers coming. And what right now is at home? Okay, Gerald has a battery, and he has 3 Stalkers. If Gerald walks down onto the low ground for some very, very, insane unknown reason, then he'd be in trouble. So he is really playing defensive here. He knows he's against the proxy Robo at this point.
So he needs. I do like this. The sentry coming in for the force field. Obviously, there is the ability to sort of ferry with the Warp Prism. Stalkers are able to sort of push that away. This secondary gateway coming in at the back is a really smart move because this picking away at the gateway is a pretty smart and pretty obvious play by Harstem. He is going to be able to pick off that Stalker, which is a nice catch as well. 1 Immortal coming out now for Gerald with the shield batteries. I really don't see how. I don't really see how Harstem manages to make this work as far as the killing blow goes. Really nicely done on Harstem's side of the map there. He avoids the Faceless Trap.
Yeah, Harstem's done a good job, but there is now, with that Immortal of Gerald, a fairly hefty degree of safety. Now, Harstem is down and workers up in army. Tech-wise, I mean, both players have their tech proxied, so it's kind of written off. Neither player has invested into anything else yet, right? Oh, no, of course, Gerald has a big advantage because he has a Robo. What's happening?
Oh, this is... Okay, so he's moving out with the Prism and the Immortal. This is a very... by Gerald. He's hoping that Harstem can't identify that this is happening. If he can get this additional Immortal out, he'll be in a position where, I mean, I don't want to say it's a super safe position. Harstem, I think, has identified. Yeah, he sees that the Immortal is going after the Robo. This is an exceptionally ballsy move by Gerald that I'm not sure is going to pay off. There is another Immortal coming in. There is that secondary shield battery as well. But now, actually, the Immortal pops back in with the Prism. And, oh my god, this is actually kind of working. This is actually working really, really well.
Gerald just killed an Immortal. That's such a huge pickup. He also has now the Oracle joining the fray.
Yeah, so he gets the recall off. That was a huge win there for Gerald to be able to hold there. Harstem, though, already almost done with his expansion, so I wasn't entirely wrong. We were just seeing a normalization a little bit later than I thought. Also, I'm very, very happy. Like, the fact that we made that Big Joe Logs joke, and Big Joe Logs himself is in the chat.
Is he here?
He's
here. He is, yeah. Okay, so we're now seeing Gerald push out across the map. Army supply slightly favouring him, but Harstem has this natural. He's very safe. And Harstem is definitely, in my opinion at this point, Penguin, eking out a lead, because that natural is very quick. We do see Gerald actually going into Phoenixes at this point, which I do like, because he needs to find some economic damage here.
Yeah, I agree that Harstem is eking himself out of lead. Ooh. Oh, I was going to say that he needs to find some, damage here, but losing that Prism is a huge deal. It's a good recall there. Yeah. Now I will 100% conclusively agree with you that he has a good lead. I was a bit tentative there, wanting to see what Gerald was able to make happen with those Immortals. Turns out nothing. So, yeah, Harstem is pretty solid. No, he didn't even kill a Stalker, I don't think.
Oh,
actually, no, it looks like he did get one. But overall, Gerald's not in an incredibly bad position. He's not dead, which is already quite nice when you're going up against a proxy robo. But definitely a nice lead for Harstem here. I like the Phoenix just for some additional sort of scouting power slash... I mean, it's nice to have Phoenixes later on in the event of Disruptors anyway, but the one Phoenix here to just sort of scout around and also just... It's nice to sort of dissuade your opponent from going for Prism shenaniganry.
Yeah.
Nice little snipe there on the Observer as well. And the Disruptors have begun.
Yeah, these are early Disruptors, and we're actually getting Gravitic Drive as well, which means we're going to see some Disruptor drops, my man, which is my second favourite thing in the universe.
After what?
Disruptor versus Disruptor fights.
Where do Storm drops go?
I can't do them because I'm not very good, so quite low. There's too much micro for me.
You think Storm drops are harder than Disruptor drops?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
I don't know why, dude. Because yeah, you're right. You are right, but maybe.
I'm always
right. I can't do either, to be honest. I like Colossus drops. That's what I'm
Yeah, when I play Protoss, I make Colossus Blinkstalker, even though it's not optimal, because it go pew pew and I can A move real good.
Yeah, I love an A move. I like Charge Zealots. I make more than anyone else because I can just tab out. And here comes the F1 car over Prism, starting to dart its way around. It has a couple of Immortals in. It's going to dump those off and pick up its real payload here. It should be those Disruptors, I imagine. You going to load up? Oh, just one? Oh, come on. Be a man. Pick up two. Be a man.
Now that's hard to micro. The double Disruptor drop.
Yeah, man. With all the strength of a be a man. What am I doing?
I have no idea, my dude. I have no idea.
Disruptor coming in. Purification never does go off. Forces to pick up though. Too many Immortals to cancel that one out. We are seeing the recall come in here from Gerald. Sure one.
Dark Shrine coming in now for Gerald as well, which I mean I loved his use of Dark Templar in the last game. I'm a big fan of excessive late game DT use. It's very, very fun to watch. Oh, an unfortunate loss there on the Oracle as Harstem moves out. Harstem with a 20 supply lead right now. Pretty hefty advantage. He's also going to hit with +1, where he should have about a 20-second advantage. 3 Disruptors, however, do mean that Gerald is in this with a chance to hold. It's just going to come down very, very much to just how well this goes. I love the hallucinated Prism, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, Purification never what a shot!
Everything dies! Okay, not everything, but like that's the entire advantage that Harstem had gone.
Blink
the
was
entire
up.
advantage. And it buys time for Gerald to get his +1. So the entire advantage is just gone. Absolutely wild. And Harstem, I guess he wasn't expecting Gerald to have Disruptors out already, but my god.
So the Disruptor job.
Yeah, that was... I mean, that was an incredible Disruptor shot. What's the kill count on this thing? What is it?
11!
11!
And that's like all Stalkers, right?
Yeah, I think it might have even been like a Sentry, a couple Zealots.
Sentry, yeah. Oh,
God.
That's filthy.
We have Phoenixes coming into production now for Harstem, so he is prepping for this. And Harstem maintains an 8-worker lead. He's had his third base up for longer. He's not behind now, but that one Disruptor shot went a very long way to equalizing this game. It's not entirely equalized yet, but Gerald finds himself in a much better position.
There's no cannon.
Oh my god, the DTs are going to do quite a lot of damage. Where are the observers? There are no observers. He has no detection.
He has
Oh
no
my
detection.
god, Gerald has put himself into an
DT's
amazing...
slicing and dicing the army now.
Oh, he's not
Go for workers.
Oh, okay, now he's splitting them up a little bit. Oh, man, he really could have gone for so much more worker damage. He's denying a ton of mining. He's already killed about 10 workers. This is so unbelievably bad for Harstem here. He is in so much trouble. Losing this much mining time, Gerald has found himself in an amazing position, continuing to build up that disruptor count. There are 4 Phoenixes, which means that there's a very, very good chance for him to sort of delay those disruptor shots and deny some of them. But I like this as well. Gerald prioritizes unpowering that Stargate, delaying the increase in the Phoenix count, and DT's just continuing to be super annoying. And with that, Gerald now has a supply advantage. 13 in the army supply. He's evened out the worker count a little bit more. Man, he's playing real well, considering that he was behind after that initial all-in.
This series has been one of the best PvPs in a pretty long amount of time, I'd say. A lot of them have been so quick in this tournament. But these two guys are trading blows like Rocky and Apollo Crews. And now we see... what was I saying?
So army composition-wise, I do feel like Harstem's army composition is better if microed optimally. Of course, the Phoenix is giving the opportunity to disrupt the disruptors, if you will. Not really that much in the way of anti-air. There are these Blink Stalkers, but he's not going to be able to focus down 6-7 Phoenixes at once. So I actually quite like Harstem's army composition. But Gerald evening out the game is great, and we've already seen the power that a single disruptor hit can make happen. So, I mean, if he fires off 7 or 8 disruptor shots and 6 of them get canceled, it's still enough to sway the tide of the battle.
Yep.
So we'll see how this ends up going. But I love that we have Gerald continuing to shark around with these Stalkers. It's a great way to maybe catch a Phoenix off guard there, maybe pick off 1 Phoenix here and there if the air army of Harstem is a little bit out of position. I like that they're both going for 4th bases now. And again, we're gearing up for a very, very awesome macro game. And I do love a good macro PvP.
Yeah, so do I. And this has been, so far in this series, one of the best in a long time. Now, we see Harstem does have DT still dotted around the map. His Phoenix count is okay. This is an Ursodon. His army itself is pretty good. He's got quite a lot of Immortals. 3 Immortals. He's got, well, he has no tech really, though. It's just Phoenixes. His +3, though, is going to be quick. You can see he's already a good 30 seconds into that upgrade. And it's not started yet for Gerald. Harstem's upgrades and macro have always been on point. It's just these tiny mistakes that seem to have been holding him back from taking the series by the gruff and being more convincing in his wins. Still no +3 started. This is a little bit worrying now because the money's there for Gerald.
Yeah, Gerald not starting that +3 is definitely a concern. Obviously, disruptors don't benefit from the weapon upgrade, so it's not a huge... I mean, it doesn't really benefit those units, but everything else in this army definitely needs to have that +3 upgrade. He's trying to shark around with these Stalkers. Again, can't quite pick anything off there. Decent number of Archons coming in now. As the Phoenixes fly on in, they're going to be using a little energy on some of these probes. He loses a Phoenix, though, and the Phoenix count's actually quite important for dealing with these disruptors. And Gerald takes this opportunity to move out across the map. He says, your Phoenixes are out of position. I'm going to make sure that I get into a very uncomfortable spot for you to deal with. And I mean, there are enough Phoenixes to deal with some of these disruptors, but I think there's like 8 or 9 disruptors in here and only 6 Phoenixes. So it's going to be very, very rough. The first 2 disruptor shots don't manage.
Another huge shot.
One, though, and another one blows up all the Zealots. Gerald up so much supply as he is trying his best to push on through, and that's going to be it. GG. And disruptors, man, that... You know what that game made me think of, Grant? That was like when Neeb went to Korea and the Koreans had never used disruptors.
Yeah.
And he just disrupted his way through Kespa Cup. Like, Harstem played a fantastic game against disruptors in game 1. But that game, he just wasn't on point with that micro quite to the same level. And I think maybe he got a little bit cocky after that initial opening. He knows he was ahead. He knew that his natural was down quite a lot earlier. And that may have played a little bit of a role there into sort of, like maybe relaxing a little bit, taking his foot off the gas and looking away for that 1 split second when that disruptor came in at the very beginning of the game, blowing up half his army and evaporating his entire lead. So from there, it's very easy. I mean, Harstem is one of the players who has an extremely strong mentality, so I doubt he was like full tilt for the rest of the game. But it's very easy to sort of, after one of those moments, just to sort of shake your head and go, man, oh man, that's really sucks, and just sort of get you down for the rest of the game. But I'm sure he's going to pump himself up for this one. And man, what a great series, Gerald. Yeah. 16-1 for Harstem in their last 8 series, but Gerald's made it 17-2. So he's already made some progress.
That was a really great game. Meanwhile, an update from one of the other... We'll do a quick update on the other series. Brattok beat Ziggy 2-0. That's unfortunate for Ziggy, who did not take a series this event. Went 1-14. I feel so sorry for the guy because I love him. Ufurble beat Drogo 2-0. Drogo's been one of the best players in this tournament. And was actually, for a while, at the top of this group. He is now qualified in 3rd or 4th, depending... No, I believe he's...
Yes, I believe that, Drogo should be guaranteed to go through.
But Ufurble tops that group now.
Yep.
That's a 6-1, 13-3 is a bloody good score. It's the same score as Serral.
Yeah, man, and arguably a harder group, I would say. Like, obviously, Serral has Lambo, but Euthermal, I mean, Hero Marine's in that group, Drogo's in that group,
Harstem.
Gerald is doing very well. Shadone is also playing quite well lately.
He's one up against Hero Marine. Shadone is 1-0 up against Hero Marine right now.
Yes, and that's a really big deal because Shadone wins that series. This series actually doesn't matter. But both of these guys will probably expect that there's a very solid chance that Hero Marine does come back and win that series, so they're still going to be trying everything they can to win this game. And we've seen 2 really solid games so far, 2 really great PvPs. And we're going into Death Aura, which is going to spell death for one of these players in this.
Yeah, this is going to be fantastic. I'm so stoked. It's such a sick series, man. And when I found out we had 2 PvPs back-to-back, I was a little bit like, oh, that's sad. I have a Zerg with me. Oh, so do I. I mean, it's wild. It's the Wild West of mirror matchups. For now, we are into our map. We are ready to go. And in the top left, he won the last series. He loves a disruptor. It is the player for Exxon Gaming from Poland. It's Gerald.
Facing off against the red Protoss player in the bottom right for Team Liquid, it's Harstem.
I didn't spin the camera very well that time. I'm sorry, Marpu. I let you down. Okay. So, neither player is just going to go full balls to the wall and drop a forge. I would never have expected that in this series anyway. Harstem is not a cannon rusher. I think he's pretty anti, in fact. And Gerald, I would say, is a more he's a more mid to late game oriented player. I would expect this. Maybe we'll have some proxies early, and that could spell the end for these players. But I would expect this one to go on. You know, I'm expecting another good game here.
I am as well. But a quick little correction. Apparently, Hero Marine is now 1-1 against Shadow.
Okay. That was a pretty
really great awkward timing. Awkward timing because I'm pretty sure that on stream we haven't said that it's 1-0 yet. So we're just wrong because of the stream delay. That's, Regardless, this is I agree with you. We're probably going to see a nice longer game. Now this map though is a little bit weirder when it comes to long macro games. So it's a little bit harder to secure your 4th base. Not that much harder, but then the 5th base is where it becomes really weird. You have to go difficult. You have 4 bases in your corner of the map, and then the 5th base is just very far out there. So I imagine this is going to look a lot more like the second game that we saw rather than game number 1. I do like that Harstem is initially opening up with a fake proxy pylon here at the 6 o'clock. This is always something that I think is a very cool thing to do after you've just proxied the game before. So nice little decision there. Gerald may have a little bit of a moment where he freaks out when he pops in and sees no pylons in the main, especially given that he was quite far behind after the initial pressure.
Yeah, I'm... the thing about Death Aura for me is that the map is very small. And as you said, you can take 3 very easy bases. The 4th isn't so bad, but the 5th is almost impossible. And then if you get to the very late game, double Rich Vespian Geysers, which in PvP means you can make like 10 Archons a minute, which is just beautiful. In terms of tech, we've not seen any for either player yet. Looks like they're both going to be most likely playing expansion builds here. Harstem's very close to that 400.
Sorry, I love this comment in chat from Kobe. Why does Harstem, the largest player, not simply eat the others?
Yep, I like it too. Right quiz is here. So many awesome people in chat. Thanks for being here, guys. We're on the, the C stream. We're actually on the smallest of the streams because I was on the B stream last time.
But Brad, why doesn't the main stream, the largest stream, eat the others?
Eat the others. You're a funny motherfucker. Both players producing stalkers. Still no tech going down here as they have dropped down Nexuses respectfully. Nexi. And what gate is Nexus? But I like to say Nexi.
No,
but
like
it's a good one. I like it. Harstem goes Stargate.
So hard. I hate it so much.
Oh, really? I'm going to do it more then.
I think actually, technically, the plural of Nexus is Nexus.
I think so as well.
Nexuses is like slightly less incorrect than Nexi.
Nexi. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna be like Nectopes.
Don't do it. Please don't. Please don't.
Nexizes.
I like this is a little bit interesting. Gerald putting a proxy pylon in the bottom left very late on.
Drop a gate here, isn't he?
Oh, no, I think it's gonna be a Dark Shrine actually, because he's already got the.
Oh my god, you might be right.
This is kind of cute. Dark Shrine? Prove me right.
It must be right.
It
He's got the
be right.
He's got the money. Yeah, that's so good. Okay, this is really cool because what has Harstem been forgetting to make a lot this series?
Detection.
Yep. So, Gerald has obviously identified this and gone, this is possibly a weakness in his play. He's put this very late proxy down after Harstem has already scouted. Harstem is now sharking around the top side here with Hallucinated Phoenix. If he were to do the same mirrored across the other side of the map, he would see this. But how many sentries does he have? 2. He does have enough energy to throw down another hallucination.
Oh, man. I honestly, like, this is going to sound real weird. I kind of hate that Gerald killed that hallucination. There were no gases at that natural. He doesn't have the Dark Shrine in his vein. I kind of think it benefits him more if Harstem gets in, because like it kind of looks a little bit sus that he's like trying that hard to kill the kill the scouting Phoenix. I don't think it's a huge deal. I think it would have been real nice since there were no gases yet at the natural to just sort of pop in there. It doesn't look like DTs to me at least. No. So, we'll see. I mean, I do like that Harstem is kind of spreading out his own pylons here. He's going to build something on the lake. Is he going to build a Dark Shrine as well? He's on patrol. I mean, it would be quite bad for him, actually. I think it's so much later. And it's just so much later. I think that's pretty bad.
Yeah, me too.
All right, a couple DTs. Yeah, the Phoenix gets in this time. But, like, this is great, man. I mean, like, he sees the Chrono on the Twilight Council. I don't think he has any idea that there's DTs coming. I know there's a couple DTs on the map. I'm only seeing one right now. Okay, he's spreading them out. Yeah. There is no detection just yet.
One on the way.
Oh, there's only one pylon, but with an overcharge, I think he actually would be able to save that. I like that he's just kind of going for...
Force field on the ramp?
He has to.
Has he seen it? He must have.
Oh, no, he doesn't have to. Like, he's hold position. All right, so kill there. That's nice. Observer gets out. Where'd the third DT go? Oh, it's the third. Okay.
Oh, it's in the third. Yeah. Slicing it.
Man. So I mean, Harstem cutting it a little bit close there. Gets the defense down there, losing 2 workers for a DT. Pretty solid trade. He also knows obviously now that there are DTs. So nice little bit of information for him. And Gerald, how's his detection situation? He does not have any cannons in the main. He's got 1 in the natural. He's got an observer coming on out. I think he's already, he doesn't have one on the field just yet, but it's on the way. So we'll see how he defends. It shouldn't really be too difficult for him to defend either. And the game is going to essentially normalize into what I imagine is going to be the same as the last few games, where we're going to see disruptors out of Gerald a little bit earlier than Harstem. And Harstem may go into his own disruptors, especially the way the last game went. I think it honestly benefits him to go into disruptors rather than trying the Phoenix route.
I agree.
Disruptor going through the fast zone looks so funny.
So good. Look at their little legs. Go, leggies, go. Harstem's upgrades are going to be ahead, as they have been throughout the series. If I had one criticism for Gerald, if he ever watches this back, and Gerald, know that I love you, because he's always really nice to me on Twitter. As soon as an upgrade finishes, start another one, you little shit. Now, that robotics plate is finishing, and he will start disruptive production. First one should be on its way very shortly. And now we're getting to the stage of the game where fireworks are on the horizon. It's July the 3rd right now in this game.
July? God, I hate fireworks.
So do I.
I've had to deal with fireworks for like the last week and a half straight. It's very annoying.
Freedom or something.
or something. All right, we've got another scout coming in here. Double hallucination. This is going to be a lot of information for Gerald, who has gotten his disruptor production underway. Just the first one on the way, as well as a second robotics. I feel like this is a little bit later than the last couple games, which this is similar to the army that we saw moving out from Harstem in the last game. Looks like he's just posturing here, trying to catch the stalkers, though, not planning on moving out across the map. And I think that additional bit of safety may well be warranted given how the last game went. And I like that he's just kind of going into his own robo bay here, going into a fourth, going into more gateways. Charge is always really nice to have. That's another thing that Gerald's been getting quite late. He hasn't really been going for the Zealot investment, so he hasn't had the Zealot flanking capabilities that Harstem has had. And now, though, we see, oh, that's a really nice pickoff from Gerald. He gets himself almost an Archon there. So Stalker as well.
Blink is already back up, so he's going to get away without too much harm here. Zealot charge not yet done, and he could have had that Archon.
Yeah, he could have. It's 20 HP.
Yeah. The disruptors, though, the number is climbing. We're at 3, soon to be 5. Harstem is adding on a robotic spare of his own to begin disruptor production himself. I don't think we'll see anything strange like disruptor drops here from Harstem. Harstem's +3 immediately starts, and this has been a key difference in the game. +2 finished, +3 gone. Snap of a finger, he starts it. But +2 is finishing now for Gerald. He's very, very close in terms of those upgrades. Up, blinking away here, trying to make sure he doesn't lose too many units. Maybe a little bit sloppy.
Pretty micro. I also think it's important to note that Gerald, his like forward stalker positioning has already done its job. He delayed that initial push to the point where Harstem was like, all right, he's got disruptors. And now, I mean, oh god, Harstem, is he actually going to go for it? Oh, the disruptors are ready to flank. God. Here they come! Okay. It's not going to be enough. But now they're kind of exposed. The defensive disruptor shots. He only actually manages to recall 3 of them, and one of them gets taken out before the recall goes down. That's actually a really big deal if he catches the second disruptor, but there's a couple more here ready to defend. And it looks like Gerald's going to be able to at least defend until the cooldowns are done. Losing 1 disruptor sucks a little bit, but he'll be okay. Yeah,
he's still doing very well in disruptor count. He is double producing them. Harstem only on the 1 robo. There's that hiccup I've needed. And Gerald's Blink Stalkers, he's been very good with these Blink Stalkers. I really like the way he uses them. He knows when to take trades. He never blinks away what seems to be too late.
I think Gerald also agrees that he's been good at his Blink Stalkers. He's like, yeah, I've been really good with my Blink Stalkers, so why don't I get Blink on another one of my...
Oh, yes!
Here we go. It's Shadow Strike time.
Yeah, the best upgrade in StarCraft 2.
Sorry, these disruptors are... It's volleyball time, buddy.
Yeah. DT's being annoying, but they have been pushed away. We do see a couple of purification overs forcing blinks left and right. And we're back into a situation from game 1. Supplies even, pretty much.
Oh, I love this roll from Gerald. The 3rd, or the 4th.
Yeah, that's nice. That just stops run-bys and also disruptors firing up while they go through buildings, but it's a little bit harder for them to have any support. They have to walk
another fight coming in from the disruptors. He gets
it's a good one!
That's a huge potential one going up. That's a ton down. And it's another moment where Harstem's not paying attention quite to the level that he should have been. A massive supply dip from Harstem. Gerald now up by 40 at the moment, and he is going to seize this opportunity. He is going to deny this 5th, maybe even go straight for the 4th. And oh my god, Harstem.
He didn't see the 5th, which actually could end up being almost a small mistake here. If he could have got that cancelled, that would have been very nice. He's going to walk up now, see that, yep, this is completely unguarded. Up, sees I goes, the disruptors leading the way. Purification overs non-stop. Stalkers will fire down on the probes. You can fire off a super factory, because guess what blows that up? Disruptors, and now we should see, a blink it forward here from Harstem. 4 kills go down. Disruptor shot currently on cooldown. A decent one there for Harstem, but it's not great. But we do have a big Zealot run by here. Oh my god, a decent shot.
Yeah, Harstem is cornered Gerald here, and this is absolutely an overextension. He's trying to get his way out now, but the disruptor count is very, very scary for Harstem. Another disruptor coming on in, gets a little bit of a connection there for Gerald, but he's been forced back, and he has absolutely been reset on his disruptor count. Really, really nice defense there by Harstem. The flank from the Zealots was very key there, just preventing Gerald from getting away. And Gerald now, while he is even on supply, and I believe he's about to get his +3 upgrades done, a lot of this is in Stalkers, which is scary in this kind of a unit composition matchup. but he needs time to get his disruptors back. He's actually going up to 4 Robo because he's so low on disruptors right now.
Okay, just to add some context to this game for anyone joining as every other series is finished, the winner of this game advances. That's where we're at right now.
Stone has, in fact, lost to here, Marine, despite a 1-0 lead.
So this game decides the group. This is the most important game of... I mean, Harstem's played a lot of big tournaments. I would say this is the most important game of Gerald's life.
Gerald's not had amazing results in big tournaments so far. He's done amazing online. He's had solid showings in some of the WCS of the last couple of years. But this is a very important game for him. And now he's going into a mothership triple disruptor production on the way. He has evened out the disruptor count at 5-5. He has a bit of a supply lead. It looks like he's stabilized, but again, not seeing this 5th base, like you mentioned earlier, has allowed Harstem to accrue a little bit of an economic advantage. And this 5th base for Gerald is very close to Harstem's.
Yeah, both of these players. Now we're just going to be seeing, probably in this northeast section of the map, it's going to be non-stop action. Volleyball being played, dodging shots left and right. We do see the base having to be cancelled here, actually, for Gerald, so everything I just said is completely wrong. But Gerald is moving out on the map, and now he's looking for the Zealot flank. Zealot's moving through. They're going to catch a few Zealots here of Harstem's, nothing too important, and he's moving down the centre right now, looking for damage maybe in the middle of the map. We have a big bunch of DTs for Harstem moving to the southwest. They could be intercepted, possibly. Doesn't seem to be the case. Mothership halfway done. The Dark Shrine for Harstem went down.
Oh, I never even noticed that. That's a pretty big deal. His secondary Dark Shrine is finishing up now. 1 disruptor shot's going to pick up a Zealot or 2. I think one of the things that Gerald was doing in that earlier engagement is he got a little too excited. A nice flank coming in from Harstem is dodged. But Gerald, in the earlier engagement, was firing them off too quickly. So he didn't fire them slowly enough so that there was always a disruptor shot zoning. And I think he's going to be very mindful of that going forward. He's got enough disruptors to consistently be firing a shot all the time. But now, right now, the question is, what are the DTs going to do here? They pick off the cannon. Here comes the disruptor shot. Doesn't get anything, forcing a complete recall. A couple of these reinforcements...
It's a really split recall. Harstem has just found something, I think, because the recall was very, very split, and now units getting caught out in the middle of the map. Zealots are buying some time here, but Harstem is going to be hitting the 4th base. He's looking to see if he can find some damage. Disruptors come in. They have moved commanding and didn't manage to fire off any shots. Now we should see the shot fired off pretty soon. We do have a flank coming in right now, and there is there's no protection. Harstem hasn't got an observer.
Oh man, the DTs once again. We saw this in Game 3. Gerald DTs shredding Harstem's army, as well as a couple of major disruptor shots, and that resets Harstem's army to 0 disruptors, no tech units to speak of except for a couple of DTs, and it was that split recall was a great opportunity for Harstem, but similar to the way Gerald overcommitted earlier, Harstem overcommits, and now Gerald has a massive lead, more so than he did earlier. And there is very little that Harstem can actually do. GG! Gerald will advance.